when the water came, it just sort of completely knocked, I think I must have been knocked unconscious. I remember the water coming straight at me, trying to sort of grab some air that was trapped underneath the sloping roof. And then after that, I don't remember an awful lot, apart from coming to, gaining consciousness and looking at myself as though I was in like a washing machine. I was just going tumbling round and round. And I was pulled out of the water and pulled onto a rooftop that was there, and just sort of like looked after until the locals came, took us down off the buildings, and then we went to this hotel next door, to the reception area there, just as a holding place. From there they took me to a truck to Nepal hospital, and from there I then got Chinook aircraft down to Malaysia near Hatiai, well, near the Malaysian border, and stayed there and got some treatment there, but still had no idea of what was happening at all. No contact with David. I just thought he was dead. Similarly, you thought I was dead.
At this time, I had no idea where she was. I was pretty convinced she was probably dead. I just had to start realising that was probably the case. So we went to this town, and they said that they thought they'd had some contact with Caroline, or someone had seen her pulled out of the water. So obviously I was very excited, and it's great news. And they would call me back in 10 minutes. So sure enough, 10 minutes later they phoned me back. It wasn't Caroline they'd seen. So I was, deflated. I really thought that was the last hope. But I knew I had to start breaking the news to family and friends that Caroline, we had to start realising that she probably wasn't coming back. So I spoke to Caroline's mother and all her friends and all my friends, and it was just the hardest thing I've ever done. My parents, it was just absolutely awful. And so they arranged for me to fly back to England, knowing I couldn't do a lot in Bangkok with no money, no services, nothing that I could call on. So they booked me a flight back to England, and about 5 minutes before I was due to leave to pick the flight up, I got another call from the embassy saying that they'd had a phone call from a local agent in Phuket who was working for the agency to say that they'd spoken to Caroline. And I couldn't believe it. I mean, they said, right, just phone this number. We've spoken to Caroline. I'm sure enjoy the phone call. So sure enough, I phoned this number, and they put me through to the hospital where Caroline was staying. And there was this big pause at the end of the line. It just seemed to go on forever. And then Caroline picks the phone up, and then I realised she was alive. It was just the most amazing phone call I've ever had.
It was.
You can imagine, quite tearful and emotional, and